Hello everyone, it's Rhonda here from Nelson Soapery. I'm coming to you from Melbourne, Australia, where it's horrible, windy and wet at the moment. So we are in the middle of our winter. So to brighten everyone up here, I decided to make these beautiful bath bombs today. So I'm going to show you how I've made them. I'll give you the full recipe and everything I've done. So just watch through the video and you will see all of that as well. Today I am actually doing the voiceover, and the reason I'm doing that is because I'm working with lots and lots of powders that can be bad for your lungs. So obviously I did need to use a mask in the middle of doing this. So anyway, I'll show you what I'm doing with these, and these are the ones that will colour your bath water as well. So we're using dyes, not micas. For those of you that are new to bath bomb making, the one thing is that you've got two options really, so you can, well really three. One, put nothing in at all. Number two, you can do your coloured dyes, which will make the water colourful, or you can use micas and they will only make a bright colour on the outside, but the water won't really change much. It will be still a very muted, very, very light pastel to white sort of color. So anyway, let's get making these gorgeous, like I said, unicorn dream bath bombs, and they are a really good size bath bomb. And for anyone that's wondering, they're really easy to get out of the mold. And number two, the mold that I bought, it comes from Bath Bomb World in Australia. So I've had this mold a good year, I would think, at the moment. So go and check them out and see if they've still got them. I think it's bathbombworld.com.au if you want to try that, but I will pop that down in the links as well, and then you'll see me making these. And of course I'll pop these on my website. And for anybody that wondering what I actually charge for a bath bomb, one this size, I do charge $8 for this one here, and I always sell out of this size. So don't go selling your bath bombs for $2 or $3. Your work needs to be paid for, and it's very expensive if you're using these beautiful ingredients that I'm using. I don't use just a standard recipe. My recipe does have a few oils in it and some really good quality oils to give a beautiful bath. And these are rock hard, and I've only made them literally about 4 hours ago. And that's why I'm doing the front of the video now, because I messed it up earlier and I did need to do my new introduction once I've actually made them. But anyway, let's get going and I'll show you exactly how I've made these. Let's have some fun. So to start with, we need, of course, a big bowl, and we've got it sitting on our scale. So make sure your scale is totally torn out. And then what I'm going to be doing is I do have my sifter on the top of this, because making bath bombs, you really do need to sift it so that you don't get any lumps and bumps in your mixture. So this is the bicarbonate soda that I use. I use an American food grade, and it's a really, really great one. Not all bicarbonate sodas are the same as well. So do remember that when you're actually making your mixture. Don't go for the cheapest bicarb, because often it doesn't work very well. So anyway, in this particular mix, we are going to need 2,000 grams of the bicarbonate soda, and I did actually put the bicarb soda down, and then I was mixing it along and I thought, oh no, I have only put in 1,000 grams. So I do go back here, which is a little funny, isn't it? But I do go back here and get some more bicarbonate soda, because obviously I need to stick to this recipe. And you don't need to be too precious about the recipe. Like, do stick to what I've written here, but if you go 5 grams over or something like that, that's fine. That doesn't really matter. I'm not super duper fussy when I'm making the recipe, because it doesn't really matter that much. If you go 20 or 30 grams over, yes, then that will actually change the recipe. But for now, this is fine. So like I said, I've put it all into the sifter now, and we're going to sift it through. If you don't do this, it can leave little lumps, and then those lumps can pop out on your bath bomb when they're actually drying and make them look quite ugly. And they just look like little pimples or warts on the outside of the bath bomb. They're still fine, but they just don't make it beautiful. So that's why I do actually go along and sift everything. So here now I'm going to be adding in some kaolin clay. So I always add in 2 tablespoons of kaolin clay, and you would have seen that I just flatten the tablespoon so that it's the same every time I make it. And now I'm adding in my powdered milk. The extra powdered milk will just give a little more bubble and fizz to everything that I'm doing. And now I'm just popping in my citric acid. So my citric acid is 1,000 grams. And to give you an idea, anytime you make a bath bomb recipe, literally the citric acid should be half the amount of the bicarbonate soda. So, and the reason for that is it just gives its fizz and so on. If you put a lot less than this, it just won't fizz and move around the bath. And that's really what everybody's looking for in a bath bomb. But, you know, this is going on the body, and we are sitting in a bath full of water with this. So do make sure that you keep, you know, as close to the recipe as you can, I guess. So now we've done our powdered part of the recipe, except for the SLSA, and I will come back and do that later. So now what I'm doing in here is I'm actually just adding in all of my liquid oils. So the first one that I add in is 2 tablespoons of jojoba oil, and now I'm going to be adding in my polysorbate 80, and the reason I'm adding in this, and also 2 tablespoons, the reason I'm adding this is it just stops everything sticking to the bath and any issues. Regardless of whether I do micas or dyes, I always add in the polysorbate 80. It's a really amazing ingredient. And now I'm adding in 2 tablespoons of my fragrance oil. You can choose whichever one that you want. I've actually used a tropical blend because it's a major seller for me and everybody loves it. So now I'm adding in 2 tablespoons of sweet almond oil, and the sweet almond oil is just a great oil in the bath as well. There's so many different oils that you can use. Just don't use coconut oil because that's not a great oil for the bath. It will just float everywhere and it's just yuck. So I really say don't do it, and it will also sink your bath bombs. The other 2 tablespoons of liquid you just seen me add in there is some apricot kernal oil. And now I'm just going to be adding in 1 tablespoon of water. And yes, you would have seen me mix it into all of the oils. And you can see it will give like a cloudy look. I just give it a bit of a mix because that does need to go in. And now here is my 2 tablespoons of SLSA. You can add more or less if you want, but 2 is more than enough for this mixture. And of course, don't forget your cream of tartar, which I'm just going to pop that in. And it's 2 big heaped teaspoons or 3 flat tablespoons. Sorry, tablespoons, not teaspoons. And then just going to add all of that in. And this is what's going to make the bath bomb hard. Please don't forget the cream of tartar. 100% you need it. And by me adding in just that 1 tablespoon of water does actually help your bath bomb to go harder as well. So anyway, I'm going to change the bowls because I've realised the bowl I had it in was just a little bit too small. And these flat bowls are really great. To be honest, I think it looks like a big dog bowl. That's what it reminds me of, but it's not. It's actually a chef's aluminium typed bowl. I think maybe it's actually... maybe it's a better metal than aluminium. I can't quite remember. But anyway, they weren't that expensive. And as you can see, I just added in my liquids into the mix and then I'll mix it up. Now, the one thing that I will tell you that you'll notice with my bath bomb mix is my bath bomb mix is a lot drier than a lot of other ones that you'll see around. You know, lots of people talk about a wet sand, but honestly, when you're making bath bombs, wet sand is too wet, and then that can actually make your bath bombs expand, crack, and just have big issues. So for the environment I'm in, I definitely don't make mine wet at all. It is definitely much more drier. So don't think, oh no, I'm going to add more in. It just looks like more, because then at the end it will end in disaster. So now I'm just separating this into my 3 containers here. And before doing this, I have actually mixed up some dyes and water. So all it is 1/4 teaspoon of the dye and 1/2 teaspoon of water. And you would have noticed I've used the kettle and I've used boiling water in mine, because what actually happens is it allows all the dyes just to dissolve totally and there's no granules left. Then I'm literally just going to be mixing it into each one. If you're going to do just one colour, do remember then you will need 3/4 teaspoon and you'll need 1.5 teaspoons of water. to go into that. But anyway, I'll leave all of the recipe down the bottom. And then the last thing you'll see is I'm just giving each batch 3 sprays of witch hazel. Witch hazel is, it's actually a plant extract product. So it's based from a plant, and it has like a water in it as well. So you don't use too much, or you can expand it, but it really does help the bath bomb. It is so much different to adding in water. So anyway, and then we're just going to keep mixing up the colours, as I said. So the same thing with each one. You'll see that I've added in each colour. So the first one we did is called amethyst, and that colour is a dye from Sud Off. And then the second one that you can see me doing here, it's actually called acid red, but it turns out to be like a hot magenta kind of pink. And then the last one that I'll be using is a blend of teal, which is also a really, really nice blend. And then these 3 colours and the scent as well just really does mix in well for my unicorn-inspired clouds. So, and they are kind of that unicorn colour, I think, that everyone would expect for unicorn. So you can see that I'm just mixing it. I rub it in my hands and I keep mixing it until it's really, really well mixed, and then I will give it a spray of witch hazel and set them aside. One thing you've got to remember too, that you do have a small window of making bath bombs, so you can't make this mixture, set it aside and come back, because it will harden. With the cream of tartar I've popped in, it will definitely harden. So make sure that you're onto that and making them look, you know, amazing, of course. So I'll let you watch as I do my last little mixture of colour. So now you can see that the mixture is really well. If it holds in your hand and you drop it a bit and it stays like a big clump, then you know that it is ready and it's fine. So I'm just going to spray some biodegradable glitter in the bottom, or just, you know, I have mine in little like a salt shaker, or you could even use like a spice jar. And all I do is spray it in the bottom. And the good thing with that is it actually does help so that nothing sticks as well. And my mixture here makes the perfect lettering. The letters don't break or anything like that. I've used this mixture for a long time. This is my own recipe that I've changed and altered many, many times. But I'm really happy with it now. And whether it's winter or summer, it does work well. The only thing is, if it is summer, I usually add another tablespoon of water. That's the only difference that I change. And a good tip too, if you are doing colours, like you can see that I've done the 3 colours, one thing that always happens is people say, oh, well, you know, the colours get mixed up, and they do. If you put your hands in them, they do. So I just use a cup or a teaspoon or a tablespoon and just keep putting in that particular colour, you know, like you can see with the cup, and that way they don't get mixed up, and it's really, really easy. And then the last colour that you're going to put in, so you'll see for me that on top of the bath bomb, I'm adding in this teal green at the top. So that way, if I need to brush any teal green off, it's only the teal green that's going back into the bowl with the teal green. So that way I'm not mixing up all of the colours. And once I've fixed it and, you know, really pushed it down with my fingers, then I rub over it with my palm just to make it soft at the top. And you'll see that it's in there nice and firm. And once you just turn it over on the tray, I push and twist it onto the tray, and that actually helps the bottom to be flat as well. If anything gets stuck in it like this one, all I do is use a brush to get it out, or tap it onto the bench, because you don't want anything left in the letters for the next time. And then each time just add the biodegradable glitter and just keep going the same way every single time, and then they'll come out really, really beautiful. So I was really happy with this mixture. Everything was really good. And also, before I started this, I did put on my dehumidifier. I only own a really small cheap one, which is from Amazon that I bought it from. and I think I paid roughly $70, like $69 or something like that. It was really cheap, but it does the job, and it will be fine for, you know, sort of a small to medium room. If you want to have a much bigger one, they are much more expensive than that, but for me this one has always worked really, really well, and I've made well over 1,000 bath bombs now, so I make so many of them all the time. And this particular cloud, as lots of you know, is a good seller. You can also put an embed in the middle if you wanted, but because I've added so much colour, I definitely don't need to add more embed colours into the centre of this one. So I'll let you watch me make it, and then I will bring you back at the end. So we're getting to make quite a few of these. I think I ended up making 19 of these with the mixture. So I did get to make quite a lot, and it was exactly the right amount of mixture that I've actually used. So, which was really good. I had none left over just to throw out or use in some container I don't really want. So it was great to have the exact amount in there. And that's the great thing about these ones. But if you don't, you can always make just one at the end and snap it in half, and that way you've got two samples to give away as well in your mixture. So towards the end it does get a bit drier, so I did give it one more spray, just one little spray in each bowl of the witch hazel. But anyway, you can see here, look how gorgeous they are. They've all turned out really, really beautiful, and like I said, they were honestly really easy to get out of the mold. They just slip straight out of the mold. You don't even need to tap this one at all to get it out, and that's what I actually do like about these sort of vacuum sealed molds that they sell at Bath Bomb World. Anyway, hopefully you've loved my video, and if you think it's worthy, of course, make sure you leave me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in a few days' time. Bye for now.